like we can't get rid of Blackjack. Hi everyone, I'm Sandrine. Welcome to a new Outlander review. This week's episode was called The Hail Mary. Let's talk about it. First, I want to thank everyone for all your well wishes. I'm feeling much better, as you can probably tell. So, ready to talk about Outlander. Let's start with some quick thoughts. We found out something really important, and it's that Gillis wasn't burnt until she gave birth to a baby boy. I mean, I guess the better news would have been that she's not really dead, but, you know, baby boy, that's kind of like exciting in a way. And the fact that they're bringing it up makes me think that it's going to play a larger role at some point, probably not this season, but who knows, you know, this is kind of a big deal. So I also really enjoyed the moment where Myrta is offering to marry Mary, and Claire is like, well, you could end up dead and you don't really have much after that, so what would you do? I mean, she's just like giving it to him straight, like, thanks Claire for the pep talk. I mean, geez, you know, you could pretend at least for a little bit that it's possible. Next, I want to focus on the three big moments that this episode had, starting with Colum McKenzie making an appearance, his final appearance, unfortunately. But before he dies, he decides to put Jamie in charge of his son, Hamish, until he's ready to lead by himself, which of course is a big blow to Dougal, who not only is Colum's brother, but he's also Hamish's biological father, which, you know, it's like, really? You're gonna give it to Jamie? Of course it makes sense because I don't think Dougal would make a really good guardian for Hamish. And I think Jamie has definitely proved in the past few episodes that he knows how to lead and how to make good decisions. But yeah, it certainly comes as a blow to Dougal, which leads to a really powerful scene between Dougal and Colum. Dougal is really putting all his conflicted feelings about his brother on the table. It really shows the complexity of the character and his feelings for his brother and the relationship. And I think it's so heartbreaking in a way that Colum decides to kind of kill himself in the middle of Dougal actually sharing his deepest feelings about their relationship. It's almost like his final fuck you to Dougal in a way, or at least that's probably how Dougal is taking it. I just thought it was a really great scene. So you kind of feel bad about Dougal, and I think that's what I like about the character of Dougal. Like, he does so many things where you're like, oh my god, you're so annoying, Dougal, I hate you, go away. And then he does some things and you're like, I feel so bad now. Like, let's move on to Mary and Blackjack. So Mary was supposed to be back home, but surprise, she's back. And she's back with Alex and pregnant. And she marries Blackjack when Alex dies. Yeah, that's like a really big twist. I think what I love the most about this particular moment happening is that it really proves that seeing names on a paper and just the fact that they're married doesn't really tell the whole story, because Claire thought, oh, Mary is gonna marry Blackjack. So she stopped her from marrying Alex, and then there's this whole thing, not realizing that actually they needed Alex in order to make the marriage happen, which is really ironic. So Claire was wrong in a way in her interpretation of that marriage, and I think it's a really good lesson of not everything is as it seems. And I think another important thing to note is that Frank is not a direct descendant of Blackjack. He's related obviously because it's the same family, but unlike what Claire thought, she thought Mary birthed Blackjack's baby, but she didn't. She actually birthed Alex's baby, which I guess kind of explains why Frank might be so nice. He didn't get the bad genes from Blackjack. So, you know, there's that. And continuing with its theme of complexity, we see sort of a different side of Blackjack. I mean, how freaky was it to see Alex being happy to see him? I was like, really? There are people that care about Blackjack? Like, it's just so weird because we have been exposed to him in a certain light, and obviously he's this terrible, terrible person. But there's this other side of him that we get to see, you know, in the way he feels about his brother. It's so confusing. I mean, I still hate him, but it's kind of confusing though, a little bit. And then he started beating up his brother when he died, and you're like, oh, there's Blackjack. There it is. Life makes sense again. Yeah, that's Outlander for you. It just kind of shakes you up all the time. It just makes you feel all these feelings where you're like, but I'm supposed to hate Blackjack, but now I just kind of feel like, I mean, I still hate him, but I'm seeing some things that I'd rather not see. I'd rather think of him just evil, you know? That said, according to history, Blackjack is supposed to die in the Culloden battle, which happens, I think, the next day. So if Claire is right, and so far I haven't been able to change anything, that means that then Blackjack is soon to be gone. And finally, Culloden is here. When they were talking about Culloden Moor being the best place to fight the enemy, didn't you go like, oh crap, no it's not. No it's not. Let me tell you, it's not. Culloden is gonna happen. It's happening next week. So I'm freaking out. This week's episode definitely didn't turn out the way I expected. But then again, when does Outlander ever turn out the way I expect it to? Never. And also because we know in the beginning of the season, Claire goes back to the present and she doesn't know if they've won the battle. That means she must go back before or during the battle and not know the outcome of the battle. So that means this is gonna happen, like, I'm guessing this coming episode, because then when? Unless they stop in the middle of the battle, but that would be mean. Why would you do that? At the same time, I'm wondering, how does she know that she's pregnant? Does she already know and just hasn't told Jamie yet? But I don't know, so many questions, but I'm so ready. I'm so ready and so worried, and I don't know. Those were my thoughts on the episode, but of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode. Did you find it weird to see this other side of Blackjack? What did you think of the Dougal Colum moment? Let me know in the comments. And if you're looking for more TV reviews, we're currently reviewing Game of Thrones, and we also shared our top 30 summer TV shows. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye! And now with all these things starting to be put in place, with the events unfolding and, you know, the Mary and Blackjack getting married and all of that, and Culloden still happening, I'm starting to think that there really is no changing the past, because it was always meant to happen this way. So maybe if you think of it as just like a circle, it just keeps on always happening the same way. Maybe what happened was that Claire always ended up going back into the past. So she was always there to begin with. She was always in the past when the battle happened, and it happened regardless of what she's trying to do, because what she's trying to do is what always happened. You know, it just kind of circular. It's a ball. It just always happened. So then there's no changing the past, because the past was always what it was. It's not like she's an external element or foreign element that came in there. She was always there to begin with, if that makes sense. Time travel theories are always gonna give me a headache, but that's where I'm at now with all those elements.